Chapter 5: Confrontation. Unexpected alliance. The biting wind whipped around Sarah and the remaining members of the Covenant, stinging their faces and chilling them to the bone. They huddled together for warmth, the flickering flames of their meager fire casting long, dancing shadows on the snow-covered ground. Days of relentless flight had taken their toll. Exhaustion etched itself onto their faces, mirroring the weariness in their hearts. Yet, a flicker of hope, fragile as a newborn flame, ignited within them. They weren't alone. A distant sound, initially muffled by the howling wind, drew their attention. The rhythmic crunch of footsteps on the snow, growing steadily louder, signaled an approaching presence. Fear tightened its icy grip around Sarah's heart, a familiar ache echoing the trauma of her past. Were they being pursued again? Had the shadowy organization finally caught up to them? Her hand instinctively moved to the worn leather-bound Bible tucked inside her coat, a silent prayer escaping her lips. As the figures emerged from the swirling snow, a wave of relief washed over the weary group. They weren't their pursuers, but another group of people, just as haggard and weary as they were, their faces etched with the same blend of determination and fear. Their clothes were patched and worn, yet they carried themselves with a quiet dignity that spoke volumes about their strength of character. Leading the group was a woman named Esther. Her eyes, though tired, held a spark of unwavering faith. She approached Sarah, extending a calloused hand. "We are the shepherds," Esther said, her voice raspy yet firm. "We've been following the signs, just as you have. We've heard whispers of the Covenant, of your work deciphering the prophecies." Sarah's initial apprehension melted away, replaced by a cautious curiosity. The shepherds, she learned, were a small, close-knit community of believers who had been preparing for the end times in their own way. They possessed a deep knowledge of Scripture, a shared understanding of the prophecies that mirrored, yet expanded upon, the Covenant's own interpretations. They had been tracking the shadowy organization for months, gathering intelligence from their own network of contacts. The shepherds weren't just prepared spiritually. They also possessed a surprising amount of practical skills. Among them were skilled mechanics, farmers, and healers, individuals who had been quietly preparing for the collapse of society. They carried with them supplies that the Covenant desperately needed: food, medicine, and tools, carefully salvaged from abandoned towns and villages. The sharing of resources was more than just a practical exchange. It was a symbolic gesture of unity, a testament to the power of faith in the face of adversity. Each group shared their knowledge, their interpretations of Scripture, their strategies for survival. The Covenant shared their deciphering of the ancient prophecies, revealing insights that the shepherds hadn't yet uncovered. The shepherds, in turn, offered practical knowledge and skills that complemented the Covenant's spiritual focus. The unexpected alliance provided a much-needed boost in morale. The shared burdens lightened, the sense of isolation shattered. In their combined strength, they found a renewed sense of purpose, a conviction that they weren't simply fighting for survival, but for a greater cause. Their faith, tested and refined by the trials they had endured, became a powerful force, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. "We have been preparing for this moment for years," declared Elijah, a grizzled elder among the shepherds. "We knew we couldn't face the darkness alone." He pointed to the small group huddled around the fire, his voice filled with both determination and quiet reverence. "We believe that this is not just a matter of surviving the tribulation. We believe we're meant to play a part in preparing for the Lord's return." Esther nodded in agreement. "We have been guided by Scripture," she continued. "We understood that in the final days, God would unite His people, that we would find strength in unity, in shared faith. And we believe that together, we can stand against the forces of darkness." The alliance brought forth a strategic shift in their approach to the shadowy organization. The combined forces of the Covenant and the shepherds created a formidable team, their respective strengths complementing each other perfectly. The shepherds' knowledge of the land and their practical skills proved invaluable in establishing secure hideouts and establishing a system of communication and supply chains. The Covenant's understanding of the prophecies allowed them to anticipate the enemy's moves, providing crucial information to inform their strategy. Their preparations for the coming confrontation became more focused, more precise. They pooled their resources, sharing their expertise in crafting defensive weapons, reinforcing their shelters, and planning escape routes. Their combined efforts transformed their ramshackle defenses into a relatively formidable stronghold, providing a haven from the encroaching darkness. They prayed together, fasting and seeking guidance from God. Their faith, strengthened by their newfound unity, served as an anchor against the storm. The experience fostered a profound sense of camaraderie among the believers. They learned to trust each other, sharing their fears, doubts, and hopes. They discovered that their faith wasn't merely a personal journey, but a shared experience, a powerful force that transcended personal struggles and brought them together in a common purpose. The burdens of their individual pasts began to lift, replaced by the shared weight of their mission. Sarah, burdened by the memories of her past trauma, found a newfound strength in the unity of the groups. The shared faith and support of this new fellowship began to heal wounds that she had previously thought were beyond repair. She discovered that her faith wasn't only a source of comfort, but also a powerful weapon, a shield against the fear and despair that threatened to consume her. She began to understand the true meaning of brotherhood and sisterhood, a profound understanding that transcended earthly boundaries. As they prepared for the inevitable clash with the shadowy organization, they knew that the coming battle would be more than just a physical confrontation. It would be a spiritual war, a fight for the very soul of humanity. Yet, they faced the future with renewed strength and unwavering faith, knowing that they were united not only by a shared purpose, but by the love and grace of their Lord. The weight of the world rested on their shoulders, but they were not alone. They were together, and together, they would face the darkness, armed with faith, hope, and the unwavering promise of redemption. The unexpected alliance had not only secured their survival, but it had ignited a flame of hope that burned brighter than any adversity they faced. Strategic partnership. The crisp mountain air bit at exposed skin, a stark contrast to the warmth radiating from the makeshift fire. Sarah, her face etched with the weariness of relentless flight, watched as Elias, leader of the Unexpected Allies, a group calling themselves the Guardians of the Valley, meticulously checked the condition of their weapons. The Guardians, a small but fiercely devout community hidden away in the remote mountain valley, possessed a surprising amount of resources, accumulated over years of self-sufficient living. Their unexpected alliance with the Covenant was a twist of fate, a divine intervention that had changed the course of their desperate flight. This wasn't just a physical alliance, though the Guardians' provision of food, shelter, and weaponry was immensely valuable. It was a spiritual partnership, a joining of hearts and minds bound by a shared faith. The Guardians, unlike many who had succumbed to fear and despair in the wake of the apocalyptic events, had clung steadfastly to their beliefs, their faith a beacon in the encroaching darkness. Their knowledge of the wilderness, their skills in survival, and their unwavering faith proved to be invaluable assets. Elias, a man weathered by years of hardship, but with eyes that shone with an unwavering faith, approached Sarah. "The supplies are sufficient for several weeks," he announced, his voice low and calm, a reassuring presence in the chaos. "We have also repaired your communications equipment. It's weak, but it might be enough to reach other settlements." Hope, fragile yet persistent, blossomed within Sarah's heart. Communication was crucial. They needed to warn others, to build a network of resistance against the encroaching darkness. This small flicker of hope was precisely what they needed to sustain their faith in the midst of despair. Their partnership extended beyond mere logistical support. The Guardians possessed a deep understanding of the apocalyptic landscape, a network of hidden routes, secure shelters, and safe havens that had remained untouched by the chaos that consumed the outside world. They shared their knowledge freely, their expertise proving invaluable in guiding the Covenant through the treacherous terrain and toward their ultimate goal, confronting the shadowy organization known only as the Syndicate. The Syndicate, Sarah knew, was far more than just a group of opportunistic survivors. They were a malevolent force, driven by a thirst for power and control, their motives shrouded in darkness. Their methods were cruel and ruthless, leaving a trail of destruction and despair in their wake. They were a threat not only to the physical survival of humanity, but also to its spiritual well-being. The Covenant's mission to confront them was not only about survival, it was about preserving hope, faith, and the very soul of humanity. The Guardians' spiritual insights proved to be just as critical as their practical skills. They had developed a unique form of prayer and meditation that helped them to maintain their focus and resilience amidst the overwhelming challenges they faced. They shared this spiritual practice with the Covenant, helping them to cultivate inner strength and spiritual fortitude. This spiritual strengthening was critical. Their fight was not only against a physical enemy, but against spiritual despair and the insidious influence of doubt and fear. The shared faith fostered a sense of unity and purpose that went beyond mere cooperation. Every evening, they gathered together for prayer and fellowship, their voices raising hymns of hope and faith in the face of despair. These shared moments of worship were more than just religious rituals. They were potent demonstrations of their shared belief, strengthening their bonds and providing them with the emotional and spiritual strength they desperately needed. Their shared faith, expressed through prayer, provided a sense of peace and assurance. It was a lifeline in the storm, a reminder that despite the chaos, God's presence was constant. The Guardians also contributed valuable insights into the nature of the Syndicate. Their isolated existence had enabled them to observe the organization's movements and activities from a distance. They shared information about their strategies, tactics, and vulnerabilities, which proved to be invaluable to the Covenant's planning. Their years spent studying the enemy, analyzing their patterns and movements, provided the Covenant with much-needed intelligence. The discussions, often held under the starlit sky, were a blend of strategic planning and spiritual reflection. They debated the best approach to confront the Syndicate, weighing the risks and benefits of different strategies. They explored their fears and uncertainties, finding comfort and support in each other's faith. Their combined wisdom, both earthly and heavenly, proved to be a powerful weapon against the dark forces they faced. One night, during one such discussion, Sarah raised a critical point. The Syndicate's power doesn't seem to be solely based on weapons and manpower, she observed, her voice serious. Their influence seems to extend far beyond brute force. They seem to manipulate people, exploiting their fears and insecurities. Elias nodded slowly. "You're right," he said. "We've seen evidence of them spreading disinformation, sowing discord, and manipulating the weak-willed. They exploit human desperation, whispering promises of safety and security in exchange for loyalty. Their strength lies in the destruction of faith, the undermining of hope." This realization shifted their perspective. Their fight against the Syndicate was no longer simply a military conflict. It became a spiritual battle, a fight for the hearts and minds of humanity. They knew that winning the hearts and minds of the people was just as crucial, if not more so, than winning any battles. This new understanding emphasized the importance of their shared faith. It was their strongest weapon, their most formidable defense against the Syndicate's insidious influence. The alliance with the Guardians wasn't without its challenges. Differences in strategy and approach occasionally arose, sparking lively, sometimes heated, debates. But their shared faith and unwavering commitment to their cause always brought them back to a common ground, uniting them in the face of adversity. They learned to value each other's strengths, appreciating their unique perspectives and combining their wisdom to overcome the difficulties that beset them. As the days turned into weeks, the Covenant, strengthened by the partnership with the Guardians, prepared for the inevitable confrontation. They honed their combat skills, sharpened their strategies, and fortified their spirits. They practiced the Guardians' meditative techniques, finding strength and clarity in the midst of the impending danger. They knew that the coming battle wouldn't be easy, but they faced it with a renewed sense of hope, faith, and unwavering determination, knowing that God's grace would see them through. The alliance was more than a strategic partnership. It was a testament to the power of faith and the strength that comes from unity. It was a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness, a testament to the unwavering power of prayer and the strength that is found in shared belief. The road ahead remained perilous, filled with uncertainty and danger, but together, the Covenant and the Guardians stood ready to face whatever came their way, their hearts fortified by their faith, their spirits buoyed by their shared hope in a brighter future, a future where God's love would triumph over the darkness. The preparation was not just physical, it was a spiritual awakening, a deepening of their faith, and a strengthening of their resolve. The coming confrontation was not merely a battle for survival, it was a battle for the soul of humanity. Sharing resources. The Guardians of the Valley, despite their secluded existence, possessed a surprising wealth of knowledge and resources. Their self-sufficiency, born out of necessity and fueled by faith, had allowed them to stockpile food, medicine, and tools far beyond what Sarah and the Covenant had salvaged from the ravaged world. As the sun dipped below the jagged peaks, casting long shadows across the valley floor, Elias gathered the two groups together. The air crackled with a palpable tension, a mixture of hope and apprehension. This wasn't merely a sharing of supplies, it was a merging of cultures, a joining of destinies. Elias, a man whose weathered face reflected both strength and gentleness, spoke with quiet authority. "We have lived here, hidden from the world's turmoil, for many years," he began, his voice resonating with sincerity. "We have learned to live off the land, to use what God has provided. We have stored food, medicine, and tools, not for ourselves alone, but for a time such as this." He gestured towards the rows of meticulously organized supplies, dried fruits and vegetables, sacks of grains, jars of preserved meats, and a surprisingly extensive apothecary stocked with herbs and remedies. The Covenant members, many of whom had been living on meager rations for weeks, stared in awe and gratitude. Sarah, ever the pragmatic leader, stepped forward. "We, too, have skills and knowledge to offer," she said, her voice clear and resolute. "Our group includes farmers, mechanics, doctors, people with diverse talents that can benefit us all. We have learned to adapt, to improvise, to survive in a world that is turned against us. We have learned to trust in God's unwavering grace." Her words sparked a sense of unity, a mutual recognition of shared faith and the strength it bestowed. The sharing began with the mundane necessities, food and water. The Guardian stores were impressive, enough to sustain both groups for months, a comfort in the face of the uncertain future. But the exchange went beyond mere sustenance. The Guardians shared their knowledge of herbal remedies, their methods of preserving food, and their techniques for sustainable farming. They taught the Covenant how to identify edible plants and how to create effective traps for small game. In return, the Covenant shared their medical knowledge, their skills in repairing vehicles, and their strategies for defense. A young woman named Emily, a former nurse from the Covenant, worked alongside a Guardian elder named Miriam, exchanging insights and techniques in treating wounds and illnesses. Their collaboration was a testament to their shared faith, a manifestation of the power of unity in their belief. The knowledge exchange wasn't just about practicality, it was a spiritual exchange too. The quiet faith of the Guardians, nurtured in their secluded existence, reinforced the Covenant's own faith. They shared stories of God's provision, testimonies of His faithfulness during times of hardship, and stories of the miracles witnessed in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Meanwhile, David, a skilled mechanic from the Covenant, worked alongside the Guardians' most seasoned craftsman, a man named Caleb. They were dismantling and repairing a broken-down tractor, a crucial piece of equipment for the valley's sustenance. Caleb shared his expertise on maintaining the aged machinery, while David provided knowledge about adapting modern technology in a post-apocalyptic setting. Their collaboration was seamless, a testament to their combined knowledge and the shared will to survive. Their conversations weren't just about fixing machinery. They were conversations steeped in prayer, fueled by their shared belief that God's hand guided their efforts. The sharing of resources extended beyond the practical. The Guardians shared their faith, the stories of their unwavering devotion to God, their reliance on prayer, and their deep-rooted belief in the power of the Scriptures. They shared songs of praise, hymns that echoed through the valley, weaving a tapestry of faith that enveloped both groups. The covenant, in turn, shared their own spiritual journeys, their struggles and their triumphs, their unwavering trust in God's grace during their tumultuous flight. This exchange wasn't merely a transfer of materials, it was a strengthening of their spiritual bonds, a deeper connection forged in the crucible of faith and shared adversity. The songs of praise became a beacon, a testament to the unwavering hope they held onto, even in the face of the apocalypse. The evening concluded with a shared meal, a simple yet profound gathering around the crackling fire. The food tasted sweeter, shared amongst friends united by a common faith and a shared purpose. The atmosphere was charged not with fear or desperation, but with hope, with a sense of purpose strengthened by their collaboration. They were not just surviving, they were living, building a community that transcended the ruins of the old world, their fellowship a testament to the power of their collective faith. As the moon rose high, casting its silver light upon the valley, Sarah reflected on the day's events. The sharing of resources was more than a simple act of mutual aid. It was a spiritual renewal. The strength of the Guardians' unwavering faith had been a balm to her own weary soul, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, God's love perseveres. The unity wasn't just about survival, it was about the renewal of hope, the revival of faith, the resurgence of community in the face of desolation. The next day dawned clear and bright, the air fresh and invigorating. The collaboration continued, each member of both groups contributing their unique talents to the cause. The atmosphere was one of organized activity, a purposeful flurry of movement that mirrored the renewal of their spirits. They had come together not just out of necessity, but out of a deep-seated faith in God's plan, a belief that their survival was part of a larger divine purpose. It was a belief that strengthened their resolve and fueled their actions, transforming their survival into a testament of hope. The work progressed with a shared sense of purpose. The Covenant's knowledge of advanced technology complemented the Guardians' knowledge of sustainable living, the two distinct skill sets merging seamlessly. The once separate groups were becoming a cohesive unit, bound together not only by the shared thread of the outside world, but by a shared vision of a future built upon faith, hope, and mutual assistance. The shared resource strategy extended beyond the mere physical goods. It became a systematic approach to rebuilding their lives. It was a testament of resilience and faith, a powerful demonstration of the potential of collective support. The process was not without its challenges. Differences in approach and personality occasionally sparked disagreements, but these conflicts were quickly resolved through prayer, understanding, and mutual respect. They acknowledged the friction as an opportunity for growth, learning to forgive and to understand each other better within the framework of their Christian values. Their debates never grew beyond a reasonable discussion rooted in their shared faith. Their shared Christian beliefs acted as a unifying force, allowing them to navigate challenges and disagreements without compromising their unity. The disagreements were not stumbling blocks but stepping stones towards a stronger and more unified community. Days turned into weeks, and the collaborative effort bore fruit. The valley, once a sanctuary for a small, secluded community, was now transforming into a thriving haven. Crops were planted, livestock were tended, and repairs were made to the existing infrastructure. The collaborative work was not merely a physical transformation, it was a spiritual and emotional one as well. As they worked together, the individuals strengthened their faith, deepened their friendships, and developed a profound sense of belonging. The valley was becoming a microcosm of a new world, a community rooted in faith, sustained by collaboration, and strengthened by shared adversity. The once separate identities of the Covenant and the Guardians were slowly melding into a single, unified body. The shared experiences, the shared struggles, the shared victories, they forged a bond that was more than just an alliance. It was a family, a community built on the solid foundation of faith. The once isolated community was now a beacon of hope, its flame of faith casting light upon the valley and providing a hopeful testament to the power of unity, resourcefulness, and the unwavering grace of God. The preparations were not just physical, they were spiritual, strengthening their resolve for the inevitable confrontation that lay ahead. But now, fortified by their faith and their unity, they stood ready, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. Their shared resources were more than just supplies. They were the building blocks of a new beginning, a testament to the transformative power of faith and shared purpose.